Hello and welcome back to Non-Compete. I'm Emerican Johnson. Today's subject is a controversial one within leftist circles. We will be discussing veganism. I've seen online communities get ripped apart discussing this issue. I've seen people get very emotional, angry, and upset about some of the subjects related to veganism. My guest is a guy named Alex Krasny. He's a friend of mine and a fellow YouTuber. He's a little confrontational, he speaks his mind, and he's very passionate about what he believes. A few content warnings. We will be discussing things like rape, the Holocaust, animal suffering, violence towards animals, and of course slaughterhouses and animal food production. If you're sensitive to any of those things, there will be discussion of those topics. There will be some visual imagery related to them. So prepare yourself, or maybe skip this video if you're really sensitive to those things. So all that being said, here is Alex Krasny discussing the very controversial topic of veganism.
I was always a big animal lover. I remember, really crying a lot when I see animals being mistreated in movies, when horses die in Braveheart, that upset me a lot. I watched thousands of Scotsmen die, and that was like, okay, that's war. But, the horses never picked to be in that war. The Scotsmen did. So it's kind of like the horses don't get the freedom when they win. The taste of meat is definitely good. I think very few vegans went vegan because they think meat is repulsive. I love bacon. I love a hamburger. I love these things, but I gave them up. I consider myself an animal lover and a logical, rational, ethical person. And here I am paying, money to have these piglets killed for no reason. And I say no reason because we can survive without eating meat. Easily. I shouldn't even say survive. We thrive not eating meat. The health implications of meat eating and dairy eating is very well researched. And recently, processed meat has been labeled a class 2 carcinogen, which is the same as cigarettes. So essentially, meat and cigarettes are equally dangerous. The government in America, probably all over the world, is complicit in promoting these products to children in schools, to parents, to promote their children's healthy bone growth. Got Milk campaign, government-funded campaign to sell a commercial product to our children, completely with no research backing whatsoever. Turns out milk's actually bad for your bones. Terrible for your health. The way we advertise meat and dairy today is really akin to how they advertised cigarettes in the 40s and 30s, where it's like, oh, doctors recommend cigarettes. Doctors recommend lean meat. Doctors have no business recommending lean meat. No business whatsoever. Eggs are not healthy. And if everybody was healthy, lived to be 98, and then just didn't have like a 40-year stretch of diabetes or cancer treatment, or all that kind of stuff that, a healthy diet would help prevent and reverse. The healthcare costs would be way down, everybody would be healthier, it would just be a better world. And that's not even getting into the dangers of working at a slaughterhouse, one of the most dangerous occupations you could have. You got giant 2,000-pound cows flailing about, trying not to get killed. Injuries are, the floor's covered in blood and guts. Everybody's in a rush, you're trying to butcher 300 cows an hour, These cows don't want, pigs too, they're tough. And they knock you over, people are getting their hands broken, their fingers cut off, huge accidents. If there's ever a time where humans can profit from animals, there's going to be exploitation. And that's just, the nature of capitalism. I think you know that probably better than I do even. So, anytime money's being made from animals, I don't support that. We shouldn't support sentient beings being treated as products, ever. And that I think you can agree with. I have to make the right decision and to live with myself, to be a morally consistent. I need to be ethically in line with my beliefs. I'm not going to spend any of my money on that behavior that's completely unethical. I mean, there are more humane ways to kill animals, but that doesn't answer the question of why are we doing it at all. Are there more humane ways to exploit slaves or to exploit sex-trafficked females? Is there a more humane way to do that? Maybe, but the choice isn't how humanely do we want to, commit an atrocity. It's do we want to do it or not? It's a morbid discussion, really, like how can you kill an animal that doesn't want to die in a humane way? Just replace the animals with human beings and then ask the same question. Is it okay to kill people if it's in a more humane way? And in what context does that seem okay to you? If it's, I have to pick one, do I kill the 5-year-old child or the pig? Perhaps I would pick the pig in that case. But I'm not making that choice. I'm making the choice of do I kill the pig or not? I mean, when you come to the point where, I need to eat a pig or I'm gonna die, then you can have the existential dilemma of like, am I justified in killing this pig? Or should me and this pig together somehow, find a way off this island?
Well done! Well done!
the argument of Inuits or Aborigines or whatever that they don't have grocery stores and they don't have easy access to food, or they don't have arable land, so they can only have grazing land and eat animals only. The people who are, living in that level of poverty aren't really, I guess, they need a lot of help. And I'm not going to really pressure them too much to change their lifestyle. For what to do about those people, I think we owe them better resources, and we can fix a lot of problems with society to help them out. But that is not most people's situation. So as a defense mechanism for why, a particular person can't go vegan, I think it doesn't make sense. Most people who are, surfing YouTube and talking on Facebook and bringing this point up, like, oh, what about the Aborigines though? What about the Inuits? Well, you're not in that situation. So it's not really a relevant question. There's a lot of unethical behavior that takes place in a lot of other cultures, and you don't use that as justification for your own bad behavior in your culture. We're bringing animals into existence for the sole purpose of killing them. So we've definitely mutated cows a lot. We jack them up full of a lot of hormones and overfeed them a lot, and give them, lots of chemicals to make them produce as much milk as possible. So in our modern dairy cows, if they're not milked, they are in pain because their udders are like 4 times bigger than they're supposed to be naturally. The solution there is stop breeding cows. If we opened up all the gates and let 50 billion cows run free in America, they would all die. Absolutely. They have no business existing in the wild. But the answer there again is not to open up all the gates, it's to stop breeding cows. It'll take probably, 100 years for the graft to go down, but if we stop breeding them, then they'll just stop existing. They don't belong here. They will become extinct. There will be no cows or pigs. There will be wild boars and buffalo maybe, but the cows and pigs will go extinct straight up. And that's for the best, I would say. You're a, big activist guy, real anti-racist guy, anti-sexist guy. You're an ethical person. And then some asshole like me comes up there and goes, you know what? You're a fucking asshole. Because every time you eat a meal, you're putting a gun to a pig's head and you're pulling the trigger. That hits you and you get defensive and you're like, whoa, I'm a good person. I love animals. And then you start coming up with all these excuses about how what you're doing is not unethical. To have a vegan come on and say eating animals is wrong, and it's something you've been doing for your entire life and all your loved ones do and your family does, you're under attack. This is a real touchy subject for people. And I've run into this a lot. The fact of the matter is animals are raped. They are forcibly impregnated. And, a human understands the concept of rape in a different way, where it affects you for a long time. You think about the rape for a period of time, and a lot of people get kind of like, taken aback by it and go, how dare you compare those two? Well, how dare you support rape? That's where it is. It's not diminishing the plight of human rapes. Of course, all vegans are opposed to rape, 100%, but it's showing you that is happening in a way that you support. And I brought that up myself a couple of times, and I've always gotten into incredibly heated arguments with my friends. It's not the same. I don't care if it's not the same. It's the same enough where you need to put that in your head and stop financing it. It's an atrocity when it's with us, but it's a hamburger when it's with animals. There's a disconnect there that needs to be brought up. People will think it's in bad taste, absolutely, and maybe it requires a conversation. And I hope that it spurs a conversation and people who are bothered by it have someone to talk to kind of explain through it. But there's definitely a rationale for that comparison, And the same kind of deal, they compare slaughterhouses with the Holocaust. Don't take my word for it. There's several quotes of Holocaust survivors that are vegan that say this very point. That when they look at slaughterhouses, they see what they went through, and that's why they oppose it.
I think that the oppression of animals is the gateway drug to oppressing humans. Sure, a lot of similarities between the way the Nazis were killing our people and the way that we kill animals.
So if you support any kind of humanitarian cause, you really are sort of obligated to also consider the plight of the animals. And if you're not going to be an animal activist, that's fine. Just stop contributing financially to their imprisonment, rape, and murder. That's the least you can do, And I think that's the moral baseline, is to not fund exploitation in any way. And I think anti-capitalist, that's really what you're all about, right? Not funding exploitation. There's a huge intersection there. So what I say to you is, do continue to do research on the topic. Don't give up on it. Don't throw your hands up and say it's too hard. Keep reading about it. Keep learning about it. Whatever's keeping you there, if it's like, I'm not sure if I'll get enough protein, look it up. The research is out there. You'll be fine on protein, trust me. The thing with the food, as far as you like to taste, and you don't like tofu or you don't like beans, okay. Very few people like beer the first time they try it. Very few people like sushi the first time they try it. But then they start liking it. You got to explore a little bit. And I would encourage you guys, if food is like, finding food options is your big hurdle, pick a day, like Friday, and say, I'm only going to eat vegan on Friday. And just kind of explore options that you haven't tried before. And you'll find a lot of stuff you like. I have a blog post I wrote on my website, agreeordie.com. It's something I call a vegan philosophy starter kit. And it's basically just a collection of great videos on YouTube and a few reading materials that are totally free. And also below that, I have a few tips, like vegan recipes, like how to get started on tofu, how to get started on seitan, how to make vegan cheese yourself at home, kind of just to get you started on changing your diet a little bit. I mean, it's difficult in a way to change your diet, but at the same time, that's not too much to ask, especially because changing your diet also benefits you and your society in a huge way from the healthcare perspective. And then it benefits the animals, obviously, in a huge way, that they're not being, exploited for you. And you can rest easy going, my money's not going toward that.
I'd like to thank Alex for coming on the program today. It's not an easy topic to discuss. It's very controversial, and even if you don't agree with him 100%, I don't agree with everything he said, it's still, I think, an important topic and something leftists need to consider. Animal well-being is, I think, important for any society to care about. And I personally will be doing a lot more researching and discussing about veganism moving forward. And I'm gonna try his 1 vegan meal per day plan just to see if that's something that I might be able to work into my lifestyle. These are very emotional issues when we talk about things that we eat and put into our body. So I understand that it's a controversial subject, but I think it's an important one once again. If you want to talk to Alex about this subject more, you can go to his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. You can go to his website at agreeordie.com, or you can leave a comment below. Alex will be monitoring this thread and he'll be trying to reply to your comments and questions to the best of his ability. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. You can check out more leftist content at non-compete.com. Once again, I'm Emerican Johnson. Thank you for watching.
Well, what did you think of it?
Great.
Boy, she sure makes it look easy. Now, wait a minute. Don't get the idea that this is one of those pictures just to make things look easy.